Hello. This is Ciarán with the TTS voice before the episode. In this episode we talk about the Berlin 4. However, since recording, a court has ruled Shane O'Brien's deportation unlawful and he won't be deported. So keep that in mind for the episode, or at least until we start talking about that topic, which is in about 30 minutes time. Enjoy the episode. You cannot deport a movement.
I need to consult the council, my trusted, the Midnight Society, my trusted colleagues, friends, somewhere on the will. We'll get like, I don't know, my very cheap Soviet watch collection.
I don't know. Yeah, you have to
Pokemon
contact.
cards.
You have to contact your lawyer. Yeah.
I have to consult something that has been rolling around in my head, but I feel like I've been too nervous to commit to like a podcast or Blue Sky as just like a thought, an analysis of the German mind, which is. So Nick has mentioned before in the podcast, like how much.
Oh, well, you're throwing me under the bus on this one with your inability to perform.
No, I'm throwing. No, we're turning to you with an established understanding. This is your thesis that I will build upon. Of like,
thank you. Well, then you're referring to me as a scholar. Then okay.
I'm citing you in my work here.
Yeah. Nick
so
et al. Yeah.
Yeah. How the German kind of like loves the Italian and wants to be the Italian and wants the approval of Italians to think that they are cool.
Maron, we know.
Yeah. Similarly, we've also talked about how like the basic straight German man's ideal, like, goals is George Clooney.
So being gay.
Yeah. These two pieces together, right? The hatred for Francesca Albanese, how much of that is like sexo-psychosomatic? Like, or whatever, because it's like, because I feel like she meets the ideal of like the woman the guy trying to be George Clooney would marry for a German guy. But then, she's helping Palestinians, and this is confusing and conflicting in my mind, and it makes me so angry.
I mean,
this is the grown German equivalent of pushing the girl down off the swing that you secretly fancy in like kindergarten or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if this exposes how German I am, but like, agreed. I love her. I think that she's phenomenal, but I'm not. I don't want to push her off the swing.
Yeah, but like the because like George Clooney was the model, right? This is like what a lot of straight German basic guys want to be.
Pigs.
And then everyone was like, oh, lifetime bachelor, and then he goes and marries like
a human rights lawyer.
Age appropriate human rights lawyer. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like there's something that I'm grasping at something, and I just need to figure out what it is exactly.
Ciarán, as your thesis advisor,
yeah,
I think you have something here. You need to rework some ideas, but you have, you could easily write a good, I don't know how long is a German thesis? A PhD is like, 120 pages or some shit, 80 pages?
After I copy and paste some stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, at least like 85% of it needs to be plagiarized.
Absolutely. I'm gunning for mayor of Berlin.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think you got something here. Come back to me in my office hours in like the next 8 months when I'm back at the university, because I'm never here.
I'm currently, as your thesis advisor, I'm currently out of office until August.
Dude, yeah, like I don't think people understand, because people have the stereotype of tenured professors in the US being lazy. Yeah. Germany's a different ball game. I feel. I don't know how
Europe in general is
Europe
insane.
Is crazy.
The two thesis advisors I've had have been just non-existent.
Yeah, they actually aren't real. The school that Uma went in, it doesn't actually exist.
Exactly.
This is all a fever dream.
One of them at UCD, he wanted to meet up with me, and I was like, fine, yeah, of course, yeah, let's see if we exist. That was the last time I ever heard of it.
He was gone.
We met up. The thing is, it's also really bad. They just pair you up with whoever is available. They don't actually care about your thesis itself,
matter,
the topic. Yeah. So the two times I've done thesis, both professors had absolutely no fucking idea about my topic. So they were just like, oh yeah, just do whatever you want. I'm like, yeah, cool, but you still have to go through them and like read what I've written, you know? And yeah, and they just disappear. So it's not even, it's just tenured professors everywhere. They just like, they don't care.
I think it is compounded by just like the Europeanness of it though, because I think the only version of that like Don Draper I don't think about you at all meme that ever got a laugh out of me was just like an American complaining about like European work ethic, and then it's just Don Draper being like, sorry, I am out of office at the moment. Just like, I will be back on August 31st.
Yeah, to be fair though, like Americans really like talk about, you know, internalizing you know, self-hatred, you know, capitalist logic. That is something that the Europeans would never do, and I appreciate them for that. Like I do like the sense of that then it's like, oh, it's like 5:30, like you're not going to hear a response back from the office like at all. You know, God forbid. You know.
Like it's 3 p.m. That's basically 4, which is basically quitting time.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. You know,
you wanted me to write a second email today?
You're interrupting my 15th cigarette break. All right. I have 15 more of these too.
I have an email job, but for some strange reason, I'm a member of a metal workers union. I'm fucking out of here.
I mean,
there's so many memes about European work ethic or whatever, but it's like, it's not our fault that the Americans have such fucking toxic corporate lives.
You did this to yourselves. You did it to yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm out of office when I'm actually finished my job. Like, what's like my work day?
Sorry that I'm sorry that I enjoy a month of fucking vacation, you pig.
Yeah, like, it has been like this since the year probably 400, right? I have done my grain harvest. There's enough to feed the kingdom now. I just get to watch like I don't know, a man get mauled by a bear in a big pit, and that will be what I'm going to do for the next 2 months and stave off.
I love Ciarán.
Something that could kill me, like a crow or a common cold.
I really do appreciate Ciarán's hyper anti-materialist view of Europe. It was always like this. Unions, what the fuck are those? It's just the European brain needs to relax.
This is the internal. The only there's been materialist changes. There's been like dietary improvements because that medieval guy basically had bird bones due to malnutrition.
Yeah. What the fuck is socialism? I don't know. Like, what's the 19th century with the corn laws?
Hey. Welcome to your weekly Corner Späti. It is me, Ciarán. I'm joined by Uma.
Hello.
And Nick.
Yo.
And today we're going to talk about some news. And Uma, you've written an article in a different language. But, we can ask you what it says. Yeah. I don't want to press the Google Translate button. I'm just going to ask you.
As a scholar, I did read it in its original Catalan. And...
I didn't understand shit, but
exactly. I don't need to tell you the second part.
I didn't understand anything, but I can guarantee you I was sitting at my computer mouthing some sounds that I don't know were correct at all.
All right, so I was like not feeling well like a couple weeks ago, and so like the only streaming service I have is Prime because it's my mom's.
Oh hell yeah!
And I like went on Prime and I was they had Oppenheimer, like I'm like, oh whatever, like I'm like not feeling
time
well.
To chill. Time to relax.
Time to chill. I already saw it in theaters, so it was kind of, it literally was exactly that. It was like, I'll put it on the background, whatever, like it's 3 hours long. And he does one of those of the like, oh, I read it in the original, but he does it for German, and it's about like, oh, I read Capital in the original German, and it was talking about like Eigentum, where it's talking about property versus like ownership, and fucker gets it wrong actually. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know,
Stick to the nukes, man.
Stick to the nukes. You know, I don't need an Irish man reading German, pretending to be American. So yeah.
Stick to what you know. All right, so we got some. I gotta bring this to the table of thing that has happened that seems aggressively like a corner Späti bit, which is the Black Zero has been taken out back and shot. People have probably heard us talk about Germany's frantic commitment to the Schwarze Null, the idea that you cannot spend and your budget should always be in the black. This has culminated.
Black is beautiful, baby, according to the CDU. Was it the CDU or was that the Austrians who did that one?
That was the CDU.
Okay,
The
cool.
city,
Thank you.
Yeah.
You know what? They confuse me both.
I mean, the CDU, the youth wings like went as far as to do sexy and yacht know it. So like at that point, the seal is broken. Say whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. Didn't the other one do like Schwarz macht geil or whatever?
Yeah, that was
Oh,
yeah.
I hate these people.
But that's why that like the only decent like joke from Die Partei was that one the last election of Black Rock Matters or whatever.
Yeah. That was
because
good.
it's like that works so well because like the CDU totally would have just printed that.
Yeah, I wish that the Die Partei just only existed as that, like that they didn't actually
the Instagram
run
meme page.
the Instagram meme page, and that they made like posters. That'd be fun, but I just don't. They just shouldn't exist as a thing you can vote for.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So Germany did it. They finally executed the Schwarze Null without without a trial. Just took it into the back. One shot.
Yeah.
Dead.
So various people in Frankfurt.
Do you think the Schwarze Null got added to the victims of communist list?
Probably.
Statist intervention, am I right?
Yeah, that like fucked museum in Canada has just got like is entering Schwarze Null.
Yeah,
like,
it has
another German name. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It has the Schwarze Null that then somehow looks like the paperclip from Microsoft Word.
Okay.
What's the paperclip's name, Ciarán?
Clippy.
Okay, thank you. I knew that you'd know that.
Live and Die by Clippy, especially that one Microsoft ad where he's voiced by Gilbert Gottfried, which is not the correct voice for Clippy.
You'll never guess who also voices the Schwarze Null in the animated adventures of fiscal responsibility auf Deutsch.
Okay, you joke, but the EU has made those.
I know that they have.
I think I've shown you the like inflation goblin or whatever. Anyway, the Schwarze Null is a kind of like institution or a thing that the Germans kind of loved so much, has culminated in various things such as a big Schwarze Null cake being made for the finance ministerium. All the people who worked in like the German central bank taking a photo where they're a big zero assembled on a plaza. And
how has no one ever made the Schwarze Null out of like goatsy? Easy, so easy.
Yeah, missed opportunity if we were a podcast that started like 10 years prior.
The German brain doesn't know funny, doesn't know. It's literally right in front of you.
I have seen a Schwarze Null
spreading its cheeks for you.
Ew, Nick.
But I think one of the more famous images is the statue of the Schwarze Null, which I posted again today on Blue Sky and was like, people were like, why does it have a sash? Is it mayor of something? And yes, it's the mayor of Germany. The thing that's kind of sad about that Schwarze Null statue is it was made of cardboard. Which that just, well, I guess you couldn't spend any more on it. So cardboard it is. That's been put into the back with a bunch of like broken computer screens and Christmas decorations.
That's awesome. I do love the idea that this is Germany's divine right of kings.
It's just this one black zero. I'm just more surprised they responded, because it's like, I don't think you've managed to convince any of those bankers who had the Schwarze Null statue that like, oh no, but like, you know, after like the threat of Russia has been contained, we'll go back to this, right? I thought they were all going to be like Japanese general holdouts in Pacific Islands, like be like, the war is still going. I love the Schwarze Null.
True. It is weird that they, you know, accepted defeat.
Stick it in the back.
Yeah, it really is kind of like, I thought that this was going to be the like, because it's the one idea that Germany does. I mean, economic idea that Germany does that like the rest of the world literally looks at them, like every like major economist who is not German just like pulls their hair out and just be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you are literally like, you are killing yourself. You are committing like literal like, what, you know, physical suicide every
like
single
a botched
year.
Seppuku. Like you tried to do seppuku and you fucked up, and now the intern with the extra sword has to come along and decapitate you. You fucked up.
Yeah, and then they fuck that up too. So you just have this like, you know, deranged like entity existing still. I don't know. It is very weird to see it go so fast. And it's one of those things too that then doesn't surprise me that then like the only people who could have ever gotten rid of it were our God Emperor King Princes of the CDU.
Yeah.
Like,
only
because
Nixon can go to China.
Exactly. Yeah. Like only the CDU could get rid of the worst idea, like the worst economic idea in this country.
Yeah, and only the SPD could have a government implode over it.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I also just like the idea of just like, it just seems like it was taken out back in shop because it's like, well, we got all this money for guns, so I get to use this gun now.
Yeah, shout out to
I missed like 20 times. It's grand. We've got money for it.
Shout out to Rheinmetall allowing me to, you know, absolutely decimate the Schwarze Null from 300 meters away.
Yeah, there's a new larger number with guns. As the mascot now. He gets to wear the sash. Anyway, also update from our last bonus episode. Liberation Day has been killed due to wokeness. You can't even say Merry Liberation Day anymore. You have to say Happy Holidays. Oh,
it's so pathetic. But now he's being accused of insider trading, because a lot of his friends have made a lot of money out of these tariffs, non-existent tariffs, really. But obviously the market was already going crazy. So he's kind of being accused of that. I think there's even like a video of him saying like, "Oh, this person made like $1 million, and this person made," and it's just like, "Oh, are you dumb? Like, why are you saying that on camera?" Well, maybe he didn't know he was on camera, but yeah, but it's really funny though, because he stopped the tariffs for 90 days just to regroup or whatever, for certain countries, but obviously not for China. So China's still like, okay, so 124% tariffs, 100 tariffs, like, oh my God.
The funniest response that I saw to like the tariffs being announced, those first ones, the reciprocal ones, was someone just like, just listing out like 50% Cambodia, 25% Bangladesh, and just posted the picture of that one "I think you should leave" sketch where the guy is ordering 1 million things from the McDonald's drive-through.
I do appreciate too as well that the tariff shit's got so funny with the US and China that there's like Chinese officials now quoting Mao. Like like just posting like, oh, like, we are Chinese, we're resilient, and it's just like a picture of Mao, and you're like, wow, like I like did not know that it was this easy just for them to be like, oh yeah.
I can't believe that Trump, ultimate problematic phase,
reverse Dangism.
Yeah, he's gotten rid of Dangus.
Yeah, no longer will the Cultural Revolution be besmirched in China. You're allowed to freely acknowledge that what Mao did was good.
So he's reversed tariffs. There's still like a blanket 10%. and he's still going all in on China, which like the market responded like jubilantly for like 2 seconds to this until they were like, oh yeah, China makes all the stuff. Or like makes like one part of my 100-piece part like manufactured goods puzzle.
I just don't get the thing of how this like like it's really obvious after all this time that Donald Trump has no idea how a tariff actually works.
No,
like that's the funniest shit. Is that he's
so
like,
funny.
oh, we paused him, this and that and that, and you're all like, yeah, dude, because like maybe someone finally told you what they are, like after all these years.
Yeah, I think the thing that like got him supposedly, according to like financial reporting, like Bloomberg and Financial Times, was the fact that the bond market was doing terrible, because like that's the shit that's meant to be rock solid, and then like. Yeah, whatever about Nvidia stock, but like
no, sorry, just Donald Trump thinks it's a market of James Bonds.
People tell me they're very important. I'm like, he's British. He doesn't even go here. Yeah, so I also love how there's the 90-day pause, but like no one trusts it, because just to kind of like give the kind of like glimpse, I listen to the Financial Times daily podcast. It's like 15 minutes of just like, here's like the top 3 headlines. Like headline number 1 was Trump has paused tariffs, markets are slightly relieved. Headline number 2, China and Europe are agreeing on a common policy towards EV sales. It's like, oh
yeah.
So we're just still going that direction.
Yeah.
Pedro is over at Beijing being like, I love China.
Heather is gonna save the world, apparently. Xi Jinping apparently is in love with him. Which fair enough. I mean, he's quite attractive. He's like 2 meters tall. Yeah, exactly.
We find out through process that like Xi has like is the exact same inner workings that we attribute to Donald Trump. We just sent him a big guy, and he's like, I love this big guy.
Exactly. That's exactly it. Didn't you send us like it was a news report of someone being like, literally saying that she is like in love with
it was it's the Chinese ambassador to Spain who was like they get on like a fucking house on fire. I was in the room with both of them and I was blushing.
That is the funniest shit ever. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just sent Pedro to like. No, I'm not gonna say Pedro Sanchez. Both.
Yeah, you're not on first name. You're not on first name basis with the president.
Yeah, I'm not Ciarán.
PD Sanchez.
But yeah, I'm not surprised if they like just send him to China. Like whenever the EU has to talk to China, they're just like, let's just send
Pedro. The one with the square jaw. Let's send him over.
He's not gonna be president of Spain anymore, and they'll be like, Pedro, do you mind?
We made a new role for you. It's European snack.
There's it's so annoying that like there's this kind of thing of just like meeting the moment, right? Where like there's a lot of problems with Pedro Sanchez, especially internally with like Spanish politics. But like and like also I feel this way about Macron. Macron is a fucking miserable person. Everything he does in France is fucking awful. And like there's a reason the far right within France is on the rise, and it's due to him just like fucking up another one. But then it's just like these are the only 2 European leaders who have like met this moment correctly of like, yeah, I don't think we can trust the Americans. I think we kind of have to pivot to China. It'll be grand. I've seen these BYD cars. They're actually pretty sick. I think like for Sanchez in particular, it's like Germans are like, oh, our auto industry. And it's like Spain is like, what auto industry? Let's get a BYD in here.
Yeah, they have Seat. And like that's it. And they keep closing factories. That's why it pisses me off so much, because I actually don't like Pedro Sanchez, but the way I talk about him in this podcast because of his international politics seems like I like him. I'm like, no, he's actually really shitty. The PSOE is really bad. Well, really bad. Obviously, if you compare it to fucking Vox, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
But internally, as you said, like it's really bad. There's a lot of like, you know, undercover cops everywhere. There's a lot of, I don't know, it's like shitty. But then he's actually good when it comes to international politics, and it's
yeah. And I think it's also like we could probably reframe this of like, let's look at some other European leaders at the moment and like how bad they're fucking up. Like Kaja Kallas is going on stage being like, China is not to be trusted, as like, really no any other, there's not really a lot of other options at the moment. We kind of like,
you're never gonna convince the Baltic freak mode, because their love of the United States is the most like it is cultish. Like
the leader of, I want to say Latvia or Lithuania, has totally like gotten on the China train.
That's good. Good for, look, not Lithuania, because remember they tried to open up that Taiwanese embassy.
I think it was Latvia, because like in this moment, because they just like, they're just so appalled by like Trump's rapprochement to Russia that they're like, well, like, yeah, you look at all the polling of European countries, they're just like, we need to send tariffs back. Like, fuck Trump. We like when all of our leaders do something that fuck Trump. And then like, I don't know, Micheál Martin in Ireland just like crawls in on his belly into the Oval Office and just like, give me another head pat, please. And then he's like, everyone in the press here is like, oh, he's done such a good job. He's helped all the foreign direct investment. And then the following day, there's like a 20% tariff on like alcohol exports from the EU. And I was like, sure hope we don't do any of that here in Ireland. Like everyone was like, oh yeah, Micheál Martin did so great. He managed Trump so brilliant. It's like, I think if you put a gun to Trump's head right now, he would be totally convinced that the leader of Ireland's name is Miguel.
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Like he does not remember this man.
No, but and it is the thing that then, so just at the end of the day, hilarious to me that then Europeans think that like there is a general consensus of Europe that they think that they're like an independent entity from the United States. You know, like, and it isn't. Like, let's just, and I know that then it's like you can come off sounding like a crackpot, whatever, this and that and that. The European Union exists. All this other type of shit exists in order to have a good relationship with the United States and preserve like Western hegemony. You're dumb if you don't think that. And it's very funny how, like, because Ireland's fucked in so many different ways that then if you don't have American businesses, like, you're gonna have your economy collapse again, you know. That you have this like slithering back to the US of like, oh daddy, please don't punish me too much or whatever. And a man who does not know what's actually happening. I mean, and not even just in the sense that then Trump doesn't understand tariffs. I do like think that a bit of like the lib brain stuff with him just like not fully being there. Like, yeah, Biden was funny in the sense of that then he'd be like, oh, what's that? You know, but Trump just exhibits other forms of being extremely old, and just that he's so much of a narcissist, it just doesn't come off the same way as Brandon. So, yeah. And I mean, and the fact too of that, then it's like how many of these like leaders of Europe will also just kind of cave into like a full-blown like white nationalist cabinet in the United States, you know, like is also one of the most like, I mean, not that these are like separate from, you know, the American, you know, international goals, but it is just like, it's still like on like at face value, and you have just stuff of like, oh, like no one actually really does care about them, like the Trump administration, more so in the fact that them like, oh, it's making stuff more expensive for us. You know, there's not like the European outrage like there was Trump won, you know?
Yeah, I think there was initially going into Trump too. Europe was just like, well, we'll just ride this one out. There was some preparing, like they tried to rush through the free trade agreement with South America, and that was like because they were hedging against like a slightly more isolationist America. And one that like primarily through Hegseth and Vance is just like way more openly hostile to Europe. The thing I think is interesting is I think a lot of European leaders do recognize that they are kind of like beholden to the United States, but that was not like a problem until like a week ago.
Yeah.
And thus it's now like you see them trying to like turn the cogs in their little brain about like, how do we make this, because what they want is for this to not be an issue, and they want to like make it go away in some capacity. And it's really only like a handful of leaders who are like, actually, fuck it, let's just pivot to China. Like, it is Sanchez playing nice to them. It is Macron who's like, this is our chance to become like the Gaullist dream realized. There's a little bit of like Norway, like the government of Norway.
The French decade of the Chinese century, yes.
Exactly.
We have made this, we have established this as a thing on the show.
There's a weird thing where like the Norwegian government is now actively pushing again for EU membership. Iceland is openly considering it again because there's like, we cannot be like separate in this new world order. We have to get in with this club. But then at the same time, you've got Maloney being like, it would be childish to let go of our greatest friends, America. And you're just like, come on, this is like, this is not going to work. It's like, it's the same thing of just like, they kept sending like European diplomats to be like, try and negotiate tariffs with Trump. And he was just stonewalling him the entire time. Like, they're just not listening to you. They're just going to do what they want.
Yeah. I also just to appreciate the, I guess this is more US focused, of how if you don't like tariffs, you're a fucking pussy.
Oh yeah, no, it's so fun watching all the far right influencers in the United States. They're like the kind of crypto bro type people becoming like Zen Buddhist, being like, what is possessions?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, it really is. Yeah, because it's the thing. I mean, it's the thing too of that it's like they don't understand what capitalism is, first off. So they're all like, oh, socialism is when no food, no nothing, this and that and that. It's like, sweetie, like, you are doing this to yourself. Or there's then the thing too of the like the liberal commentator in the US being like, Donald Trump has more in common with communism than capitalism. So like, you people are stupid. You are an entire nation of just like morons, and you've created like this, like they've done this to themselves. The United States is like woefully uneducated, has no culture, has nothing. So then it's like easy to kind of like form this entire identity around just like being a pathetic loser, and they're great at it.
It's going to be like I keep thinking this is kind of like this is 1985, but for the United States. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of like weird reforms that all kind of seem good, because you're just like, everything Trump has tried to do was always like, we're going to bring manufacturing jobs back and stuff and give people good jobs again. It's like, yeah, that's kind of nice on paper. Let's try that. Like, yeah, transparency in the Soviet government, that seems kind of nice. Let's try it. And just immediately collapse. Okay, so this is a big story that we took some time to talk about because, hey, behind the scenes, these episodes are kind of recorded a week in advance, and stuff kind of happened, and well, we gotta talk about it because it's bad. The German government has threatened to deport 4 people for participating in pro-Palestinian demonstrations. To clarify, no official crimes or charges have been put on them. They haven't done any crimes by any kind of like sane assessment. And we've got, let's see, 3 EU citizens, 2 Irish, 1 Polish, and an American.
Mm-hmm.
The EU citizens is a particularly tricky one because not really meant to be able to do that. Like, legally, EU citizens have to be treated the same as local citizens in every aspect, bar like voting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And Uma, you wrote something up
Yeah, I mean, obviously, this all comes from Hanno Hauenstein's article and research and work. So obviously, to credit him for his initial research, and he was actually the one who exposed somehow, which I'm really interested to ask him, somehow got internal emails from the Berlin Senate, and because it wasn't fully the German government, it was the Berlin government, the Berlin Senate, and like the Office for Immigration, basically. And those emails show that it was these like workers at the civil servants at the Berlin Senate that forced the workers or the head of the Office of Immigration to sign the deportation orders, because the Office of Immigration, as you said, was like, hey, but 3 of these people are EU citizens, and what would that entail? What would that mean when it comes to, the Schengen area and free movement of people, and like we can't ban someone from re-entering if they have a EU member passport. But this guy, I forgot his name, but this one guy emailed them back just being like, these people are dangerous. These individuals should not, it doesn't matter that they're from the EU, they should just not be able to live in Germany. But as you said, dangerous. What have these individuals done? Absolutely fucking nothing. They've just been very, very active in pro-Palestinian events, protest, movement, etc. There's even pictures of Shane O'Brien, one of the Irish citizens, like just random pictures of him being forced, like just being hit by the police and manhandled, exactly, by the police, because they were always there. So obviously the police like knew who they were and had their names, etc. But yeah, they've actually, I talked to the lawyer of 2 of them. Obviously, I don't know who client, who they're exactly representing, but it's 2 of them. And he said, Alexander Gorski, and he said that, yeah, there's absolutely none of these people, or at least his clients, but like none of them are being charged with anything. There's no crime whatsoever there. And one of the main reason why they're being deported, and it's the only reason that is in the 4 deportation orders, is the fact that they were all present in a sit-in, like an occupation / like quote unquote occupation attempt at a campus of Freie Universität Berlin, and there was some, I don't know, maybe something broke or whatever, or some people broke something, whatever. There was some quote unquote destruction of property. Yeah. But they're not being charged for that. They're not being accused specifically of that. They were simply just present, which is insane,
Yeah, and like presumably it wasn't just those 4 as well, like that.
Exactly. Yeah, it was not a big. It was not a small thing. And there were a lot of people, and it just happened that these 4 people were there, but again, they're not being accused of anything. There's no proof that they were the ones breaking anything. Yeah, they were literally just there, and that is the only reason that is in the 4 orders at the same time. There's other reasons, and the fucked up part, which is what Hanno, sorry, German names, Hanno, like focused on, was that in 3 of these orders, Staatsräson was a reason. Ooh. Fun. Which is insane. And for those of you who don't know what Staatsräson is, I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you probably know, but it's it's
raison d'être.
Reason of state. The reason of the existence of a state, right? And in like 2008, Angela Merkel said that the existence and protection of Israel is the Staatsräson, the raison d'être of Germany.
Yeah.
And that's been said and like confirmed by many people, many politicians. Olaf Scholz keeps fucking saying it since, October 7th of like a couple of years ago, or like last year. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, Nick might also know this and confirm this. Staatsräson is not law. It's just kind of like a meme amongst politicians, basically.
There are things that countries normally don't have.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, that is like, they're not normal. Like, it's
Well, son, it's not law. It's not like in the Constitution. It's not a thing that they can use
it's a
legally.
vibe. Yeah,
it's literally exactly. It's a vibe. It's something that all of them have said at some point, but it's still not legally binding. It's still not a thing, and you cannot kick out someone from a country citing that because there's no legal basis for it.
It's just so psychotic in the sense too that Germany tries to like make it, because like there are things of like when you become a citizen pretty much of like most countries, right? You have to then like swear some sort of allegiance to like, that country. That's like not abnormal, like whether it be like, the US has that, then that you have to like, swear your allegiance to the United States or whatever. Like that's not really like a reason of state thing. That's just like a, it's like a dumb formality that's just kind of like become a thing of statehood. But Germany's having their like fake vibe things being about a different country is one of the most like crackpot things that like if you were to tell this to like someone who was not completely just like immersed in the idiocy that is being German, like even when I like talk to people in the US about it who may not even like be politically active, and I mention the sense of like this is like Germany has this thing of their supposed like reason of state is the preservation of the existence of Israel, and they're like that makes no sense. Like that is very stupid. It's also illegal. Like not even to mention the fact of like when you're talking about the like legality of it, actually making yourself, if Germany, so theoretically, if something like the Staatsräson were to become some form of law, it is against the EU to then pledge allegiance to a different state. It's a human rights violation.
Well, like, it's very, the whole thing is very strange. Like, I think the problem you get into like pitching it to like normal, not political people, especially people outside of Germany, is, oh, I've said a foreign word, it must be kind of fancy, like champagne. And that's kind of like, you can gloss over that because the like people have pointed out that Staatsräson is just reason of state, and there is like an international term for that. It's borrowed from French, raison d'être. But raison d'être is like just when the government decides to do something. That's like usually what raison d'être means. Like it's just like when there's like no real justification, but the government feels the need to do something. Which I think kind of describes this actually, because there's no legal basis for it. They just feel the need to do it. And
they have co-opted. Sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say that it's just very strange to have, because the other thing this reminds me of is like a business goal, right? When you start a business, you make like a
5-year plan.
Like there's like a business doc. Like
take that back.
There's a bit
5-year plans are good, especially when you can do them in 3 years, like China.
I think this is like I learned this in like when I was 15, so I don't know how true any of this is, but like the business document where you give your objective as a business. There's some salty ones out there where there's like Audi or something is like to beat Renault or something like that. That's their like business goal. There's some salty ones like that. Like a lot of them are usually like, to provide the best Pog, right? Like I'm a Pog company, I'm going to make lots of Pogs. I'm talking about the discs, not fat ass white girls. Anyway, just to clarify, the sound Pog has changed meaning from when I was young. But like you don't have those as a state. Like you don't have like a goal. You shouldn't.
No, it's very nefarious and evil if Germany had a goal. has a goal, but it's also they have just co-opted that because it is a term that exists and it applies to whatever. But they've just co-opted that, like the Staatsräson. Like now in Germany, if you talk about Staatsräson, it's literally the Israel thing.
Yeah,
like that's just
it's very it's very weird too that it isn't like, don't get me wrong, like I think any version of this is stupid, but it's not even that the sense of it's like, you know, to make sure that then like Jewish life is safe in Germany, which would like make sense. It literally
that would be a better one. Yeah,
it is literally just in the sense of like, I will die for this fucking made up country. You know, like I will sacrifice myself, my dignity, my bullshit, you know, adherence to human rights that I've never actually had in real life. I will sacrifice all that so my best friend can just murder everyone.
Not even like best friend, because I think
because Israel's like a shitty friend to Germany. It really is one-sided.
Because like Israel, I don't think it's like the way the British talk about the special relationship with the Americans, where like the Americans don't acknowledge this at all.
No. I mean, like Americans don't acknowledge it, but Americans are fine with like they are like, Americans like the UK.
Yeah, they kind of have like some sort of reverence for it. They think it's either kind of like, oh, you got cute voices and it's kind of chill over there or whatever.
Yeah.
You speak the same language we do. But I don't think, to be honest, I don't know what Israel would say their favorite country is. I think they would say none. Israel stands alone. We are alive.
No, they would probably actually say Germany.
Maybe. But it is, you're right.
Or the U.S. because there's like most of them are like American citizens.
It's probably the U.S. Right?
How much of New York lives in Israel? Like it is a thing.
Or even just like, if you're going to go materially, like Germany sends a lot of fucking weapons, but like America sends more. So like, if I was Israeli, I had to pick one. It's just. Yeah, I mean, there's that whole conversation we've already had a million times before that, like, maybe the Staatsräson should be about, like, protecting Jewish life within German borders. That's probably better. Why does it have to be externalized? One of my more, like, lib opinions that I always used to bring forward to, like, white Germans to kind of break their brains is, like, hey, you know how Israel has that law that if you're Jewish, you can just get a passport? Yeah, I think Germany should probably have that.
Oh,
I think they should, like,
they 100%.
do. Spain fucking did that with the Jews that they, like, kicked out in 1492.
How are you?
The Sephardi Jews, like they literally, Sephardic, literally, like not even like less than 10 years ago, they said if you can prove that you come from Spain, like that your family comes from Spain,
but this is where I would draw the line. I would say like, nah, no proof. Just
I hate to burst your bubble, Ciarán. Germany does have that.
Do they?
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people who can prove that they were here before the Holocaust and get it, but like not every Jewish person.
No, not every Jewish person, obviously.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, for every Jewish person. Okay. Yeah, sure, fine. I don't see why not.
Because like if they were genuinely serious about protecting Jewish life,
no, for sure. Yeah, they would hand out German passports like candy. I think they should just hand out German passports like candy to everyone. So that is, but no, I mean, you have to then show that you were like that you left Germany because of the Holocaust, or you were like a victim of the Holocaust or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, okay, then fine. Correction. You're kind of right.
But then obviously they've never really been about protecting Jewish lives inside of Germany. Like last Monday on the 7th of April, there was a meeting in the state of Berlin, like Senate, whatever, about this. And so there was a protest outside. Well, not outside because it's like illegal, but nearby. It was a decent turnout. It was fucking 8 a.m. on a Monday, and they were like a good like 300, 400 people. So like that's in Berlin. That is, you got people up that early. Like
Oh, absolutely. You can totally imagine the Senate was like, these swine won't get up before 12 p.m. We can totally slip this by them.
Exactly. So, and in that meeting, there were some activists present. And Sonja Knüppel, who is with a Jüdische Stimme, so like Jewish voice.
Yeah.
She actually, piped up in the meeting and said that she actually feels more, attacked in an anti-Semitic way by the Senate, or like discriminated. Sorry, I don't know, like anti-Semitically by the Senate, and like what's going on, than like by the Berlin Four, which is how they're naming
being presented.
Yeah. And she was told to shut up, or she will be kicked out. Just like
you'll be deported next.
No, exactly, almost. So it's clear that they don't really give a shit about Jewish voices or Jewish opinions and lives and security.
Because they're anti-Semitic freaks. That's why they need the monolith of the good, like, Israeli Jew to exist for them, because it absolves them of their sin. And when they have to actually realize that there's a massive political divide generationally amongst Jews in this question, the German racist brain cannot comprehend that, because they don't actually want Jews in this country. Remember, when this country was formed again, fucking who was the first Bundeskanzler of this dumb country literally says on TV, Adorno, Adenauer. Konrad Adenauer.
What a different Germany that would have been. Adorno is the first.
Theodor Adorno, first Bundeskanzler of Germany.
I knew something with AD.
No, you're good. You're good. It's even better.
I'm imagining this world for a second. Jazz forbidden.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You know what? What's the difference, right? But no, like, Adenauer says, like, while they're doing like the Wiedergutmachung, that he's like, oh, this is good for Germany because, like, the United States is still under the influence of the Jew, and you're just like, this is the piece of governance that has started the whole, like, discussion of what the foundation of what becomes like, Staatsräson, and the Wiedergutmachung is like something that then is like constantly referred to within kind of like the reasoning for Germany's beginnings of this attitude, and it comes from a large skepticism heavily based in the extreme anti-Semitism that never left this country after 1945, and the thing that then is at least like the credit that then you can at least give the GDR is that they really tried to stamp that shit out. Like, now you can't, like, I mean, East Germany is a clusterfuck with the rise of the AfD, but it's like, if you look at the governance of how the GDR functioned and like how their attitudes towards stuff like that it was like state policy to like actively stamp out like these effects and influences of like Nazism. And you could maybe even argue why the state was so quote unquote authoritarian to like the German way of life, because it was a literal transformative period from going from a psychotic fascist regime to like possibly something else.
Anything else, please.
Anything else, yeah. And the thing is too is that then I think people also don't realize like how actively like Jews were involved within the GDR, like it is something that then is like is often glossed over, of like how many Jews were active in government in the GDR after the formation of it in 1949. Can't really say the same thing about West Germany.
No, like people will point to the examples of like the GDR's, the times in which the GDR broke its own rules about like former members of the Nazi Party being in like positions, but like one of the only examples they have is like one local judge was, whereas like, and like they had much more comprehensive rules. Can't be police officer, can't be a judge, can't be a lawyer. Like anything that remotely approaches power. Obviously, politician is also a given here. We're like, although it would be very funny to make a Nazi join the Communist Party. Just like to see it as a bit. Just like, oh, he did it. Oh, but like, yeah, it's God, it's deeply upsetting.
It's very stupid. I mean, it's not the first time that Germany has threatened activists or people politically active with deportations. It's not going to be the last one. They literally want to deport all Palestinian males, single Palestinian males, with no, like young, like of fighting age, basically, quote unquote.
The classic fighting age.
Yeah, to Greece, just because.
To Greece?
Yeah.
Why?
Mind you, these Palestinian...
They can't because they're stateless.
Yeah, but they're also like, whatever. Mind you, there's Germany has the biggest like Palestinian diaspora in Europe, I believe.
Berlin particularly.
Sorry, yeah. So I think it's like 3,000 people. It's like an insane, and they want to do that because of Staatsräson, I assume. I don't know.
Staatsräson means I can be racist. Actually,
no, exactly.
Staatsräson. Well, it's so annoying seeing this form anew, because I feel like German discourse, like polite discourse, is just filled with all of these kind of like terms that are, when thoroughly examined, just are stupid. And it's just like, but some of them have just been, these seeds were planted a little bit before this podcast started, like the classic of like imported anti-Semitism. Like that just is something that is said and has to be respected in polite circles on news programs in this country. It's never interrogated, even though it is laughably hilarious to anyone outside of that ecosystem. And it's just very frustrating seeing that happen again with like, we're just going to take this, the word state reason, and make it mean whatever. Because the reason of the state could be nice. It could be like, I don't know, make hospitals work better. Like it could be like,
nope. How dare you, Ciarán, ask for something fucking reasonable?
Yeah. No, it just gets to be rancid vibes. Is it like, I feel like in the future I'll put it into like leo.org, the very good German English dictionary. I'll put in Staatsräson. It'll be translated to English as rancid vibes. That's all it means.
Yeah. But for now, the Berlin Four, which is how they're calling these four activists, they've been ordered to leave the country by the 21st of April, which is in like a couple of weeks. And
it's next Monday.
That's crazy. But their lawyers have obviously submitted like an appeal, but also this, I forgot the technical word in English because I wrote the article in Catalan, but this like, I think interim emergency something because obviously the appeal is not going to be heard before the 21st of April. No. So just this like thing to just stop the deportation for now while the appeal is being seen, heard, whatever. So I don't know how it's gonna go for them. Hopefully, because I think fucking Michel Martin or whatever the fuck his name is, the Taoiseach, Michal. He said, "Oh yeah, we are raising this with the German authorities, but like absolutely no update." He
fucking hates every Palestinian activist.
That's like it. Yeah.
Deep seething rage. Along with women. Just getting that out there. The way he talks to women is fucking vile. The only reason he gets away with it is because the leader of the opposition is a woman and everyone's allowed to hate her. Mary Lou McDonald. But like I'm curious to see what happens. Like, it's worth pointing out that like what I've seen from the two Irish activists and Irish Bloc Berlin, recommend you go follow them if you want to figure out what's happening with this. They've been very good about communicating everything that's going on the ground.
I think there's a petition going around now as well, so if you can sign that, it would be good.
The thing that I find very interesting about them is they're just like, this is a political distraction. They're fully acknowledging that like this method of violence has been like used before, mostly on people of color, mostly people who have like refugee status or something more fraught legally than EU citizenship. I do find it quite upsetting that, like, in the supposed New World Order, when the EU was meant to be united, basically the German government has decided to call the bluff on that, of like, we'll do something heinous and you'll do nothing about it.
Well, there was this thing too of like, it was kind of telling when, you know, the US, I mean, not saying that this is like the thing that then I kind of disagree with Hanos, who I guess we're gonna have on the show, but the one point that I disagree in the sense is that then this is like borrowed from, like, you know, like the US doing it, and you're right, this is something that then that Germany has done for other people, but it was very telling when the United States started doing that for, you know,
green
activists, Yeah,
green card holders,
for activists who were green card
Mm.
holders, and you just see these like op-eds popping up in the you know, swamp that is, you know, like liberal German press, that they get the chance to be insanely racist now, and they're like, we need to do this now. Like, this is good. This is a good reason for it. Germany needs to do it, and it is the thing of like cushioning the blow. I mean, not that then this is like a coordinated effort of like media than doing it. It's just the sense of like, this vibe was already very much in the air. Liberals who need to preserve Staatsräson under any circumstance will become the like rabid fascists that they are underneath. And I think I saw within that week, from all varying aspects of like the centrist to right political spectrum, of just like freak takes of like, Germany should do this too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's grim. Like, I particularly feel bad for the well, I don't like, first of all, my maybe this is hope more than rational thought, but I do think this might get shot down because of like the no legal basis to it. But it will be like a delayed and awful process.
It's gonna be like it's gonna be in court for like years, because they'll just also like do the thing that Germany does really well, where they will use the Staatsanwaltschaft to just like make everything unbearable. Like I mean, for it's no surprise that Germany uses like the district attorney to just slow everything down, like to
I mean, it was. The thing is, it was the state of Berlin who did that.
Yeah.
It wasn't the German government. So there's a bit of hope that, I mean, you know, German government, ha ha ha. But maybe they will be worried about the optics of that with the EU, and they'll be like, oh, maybe we should stop. But then I am worried about the American person, because I believe they're also a trans person. So obviously going back to the US is actually really dangerous for them.
There's a similar situation. The Polish person is also trans, and Poland is not a...
Exactly, true.
They'd also spent most of their life here.
They also
basically
haven't lived in Poland since they were 10. I read.
Exactly, yeah.
It's
nuts.
Ridiculous.
I think maybe there is possibly some politicking will happen where like federal government is just like, okay, Kai, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
But like, as piecemeal, he'll be allowed to go fucking ham on like Palestinian refugees.
Yeah, I think also too, this is kind of the realization as well that I think the CDU knows that they're not going to win another election in Berlin for a very long time.
Oh, it's salt the earth. It's 100. And everything with the CDU in Berlin is salt.
We're going to have to talk about this next episode of the government that we're fucking getting now, which is literally just like people who proved themselves in Berlin government. Joe Cialo is probably going to become the culture minister. So, I see anti-Semitism everywhere. To close down cultural institutions is becoming the cultural minister of Germany. Great. Also, the city that then is now privatizing the naming rights of public libraries. So we're getting, All right. So
weird.
The CDU.
I am out of here.
Wait, hang on. How much does that cost? Can we put it in a bid?
No, because now the Stabi is being called Open AI Campus.
Oof.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Christ.
Right.
the CD.
Well, you're gonna get us. We've been doing this at Ireland for ages. Like all of our cultural institutions are named after insurance companies.
Everyone,
the Google campus.
Yeah, as an American, I don't understand why Europe, why the like ruling class of Europe wants to be these like classless, and I don't mean classless in the Marxist sense. I mean like disgusting pig people, tacky thing, like wanting to be American.
I mean classless in the Real Housewives sense.
Exactly, wanting to be American in any sense of the word.
It's also because they give money, though.
Yeah, I know that. I understand that. I get that. But there is something that's just like so inherently disgusting about like there is like the average European who makes like a decent amount of money. They're like, I want to be like the U.S. And it's like, why? You want to be the country of like Monster Energy drink and like fucking wrestling, you know, and like American football. Like these are things for stupid people.
Your only aspiration in life should be to send the I'm out of office email for the next 3 months.
Exactly. You should be able to go indefinitely on vacation and get paid. Americans don't get that. I don't get it. I literally left this country because it was awful.
It's coming to get you, Nick.
It's coming to get me. Yeah. I moved to the country that's the most like the United States and most cucked by it. At least if I could have gone.
Ireland is more.
I don't know. You just see me crawling on his belly.
But culturally, though, I think culturally, the Irish are a little bit more like we don't like the United States. Germans like the average German is like I long for New York or Miami. The French hate the Americans. Spanish hate the Americans. Italians hate the Americans. The smart Europeans get it that the United States is a disgusting cesspool.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we like what they do with the immigrants. That seems to be the big thing. We like that.
Yeah,
so we're going to be copying that, apparently.
Freaks.
We're going to be copying all the worst parts of America.
Yeah.
I mean,
Germany is also American wages to go with it. No, probably not.
I mean, if there is the first European country that then is at least an economic powerhouse to start getting American wages, it would be Germany. Wages are already like weirdly low here to begin with for as rich this country is. But you know, the United States is really hammering into the fact of bringing the NFL here, so we're getting that.
Oh yeah,
we're getting the dumbest sport that the U.S. has to offer. That
I think this is a part of the trade war. I think we should have to make. I think that Germany should put a 150 million% tariff on NFL. I think if we have to look at an NFL game, we have to like get Keir Starmer on the phone and make a bunch of like people in Minnesota watch a cricket game.
No, yeah, that wouldn't work. We should get
this is psychological warfare.
No, we should get Americans to like eat the European foods that might kill them. Like that moldy Italian cheese that apparently has bugs in it or something.
Oh, like the stinky ass fish. From the Scandinavian.
Yeah, the Scandinavian one. Yeah, that one. Americans have to like eat that. No chaser. Open it inside their house. You know, stink up the whole thing.
Or the Parmesan that has not got bugs in it, has been through bugs.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's an Italian cheese. It's a hard cheese, but they put maggots on it, and it's the stuff that comes out of the maggots. Yeah.
That's culture, baby. Literally. And
it just looks like Parmesan, but like with the consistency of cream cheese.
No.
I'm
on my period. You cannot say this shit to me. I will.
I'm so sorry, Uma. Yeah. God, what else? Yeah, I think. All
right. If you want to hear the ambitions of the Americans right now, my brother-in-law just wrote me this. I had a dream that Keystone made a 72-ounce can. This is the ambitions of the United States.
The American dream. That's
what
the
if the beer can was bigger?
What if the beer can was bigger? I think.
I'm just kidding. I love my brother-in-law. He rips.
I think. I respect that more than most of what I hear Americans online say. So I think. I think absolutely we should start the food war.
Not the enemy.
Mainly because I think they will retaliate with the Panero caffeinated orange juice that kills you.
I'm so mad I didn't have. It was iced tea. Was it iced tea? I thought it
was orange juice. God damn! I wanted to try the caffeinated orange juice.
I was so mad that I didn't find a Panera in New York because I wanted to try that so bad.
I heard it was good. That's at least what my brother-in-law said.
There was
He's like,
this
it
girl
low-key
that
ripped.
like almost died. I mean, I think someone actually died.
You know
but-
why they
Someone died,
died?
yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
know why they died? It was so one will do nothing to you. One is not
Yeah.
so the thing is that Panera offered this thing which my brother-in-law also has because he's a massive coffee addict, where you can get a membership to get unlimited drinks, all that you want. You just go in and you just grab. You can do it like once every 2 hours. And so what he does is he'll bring, and it doesn't matter what the size is. So he'll bring in, you know, because he does like he for a while he was doing like delivery drives. So he'd bring in like a big like thermos. And just fill it with coffee, and then like while he was out and about, he would just like fill it up like 3 times. And he has a massive caffeine problem, but he was like the problem is that the charged energy lemonade things were on that, so you could just keep having, you know, like the biggest size of it 4 times a day, which like would kill you. And that is what happened. So they removed it. And then I remember when I went to Panera and I knew about this, and I met the most stoned man on earth, and I asked him about that. And he was just like, "Oh no, man! Like they got rid of it." And I was like, "Oh, is it because it killed someone?" He's like, "I don't know, man. They just got rid of it." And it's just so funny too, because like the U.S. is where like all these service industry things are just like been replaced by bots, you know, by like the checkout counter things, the kiosks. So I'm pretty sure that is the first interaction that the most stoned man in Phoenix, Arizona had with a person all day long. And salute. I hope that he's the manager. He rocked.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok of a girl that the thing is they'd had that, but they wouldn't tell you the amount of caffeine that it had. So I saw this TikTok of a girl who had like 5 in, I mean, normal size, but still like 5 in a short amount of time, and you could tell the TikTok her hand was like shaking. She was like wired as fuck, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you basically just like smoke crack." That's insane.
The amount of caffeine must be fucking ridiculous, because I remember reading about this, like with espressos. The amount of caffeine in an espresso, there is no way to OD on caffeine from it, because by the time you would even get like, you wouldn't even get close to that amount, but you would pee it out before you get more fluid in you.
Yeah.
So it must mean the caffeine level of the shit was insane.
Americans are on like a caffeine, because no one smokes cigarettes there. I think this is why legitimately they've banned like every like you know kind of, you know, decent vice to have. Alcohol is like, everyone binge drinks. That's why like America has a huge problem with it. Like tobacco products, if you smoke a cigarette, it's like the most evil thing that you can do in a country that then has like the worst eating habits on earth, and they're having like a, you know, whatever. And caffeine now is the one that then now like every like freak is getting into, because there are a lot of like positive side effects to like a certain degree of caffeine, you know, like for like, you know, mental awareness and whatnot, and you like, you know, obsessive.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
No, but like obsessive workout culture in the United States is like hooked on caffeine, because like, oh, I can pump more, I'm gonna drink like the white monster, which is trans culture, by the way. It really makes me very mad that the United States has taken the white monster and they've tried to make it like manly. No, that is absolute trans girl culture, 1,000,000%. And the nicotine thing now. So everyone's on caffeine and nicotine, but they don't smoke cigarettes and they don't properly drink coffee. So they're drinking like the most abhorrent creations that you've ever seen that might kill you and do kill you, while they're like popping Zins all the time.
Yeah.
Freaks.
Yeah, I think someone described it as like what was happening, particularly in like Californian state law with this stuff, is like European nanny state without any of the social benefits.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of Europe does this of just like, all right, we gotta get rid of smoking indoors, blah blah blah,
No,
things like
I mean,
this.
yeah, maybe get rid of smoking
but
indoors.
Also healthcare,
Is a bit much.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
as a smoker, I do not like smoking indoors.
it's disgusting.
It's bad.
It's horrible. Oh my god.
I used to love it. I used to love it when I moved here because it was so foreign, and then I would like, it makes you feel worse.
No, it's disgusting, and then you smell like shit.
No, exactly. I'm agreeing.
But
100%.
if you tell your smoker friends to not smoke inside, then you're the bad guy, and I don't like.
I don't mind if you tell me not to smoke inside. I probably shouldn't be smoking, but I still do it because let me have my only vice. Damn it.
I do. I got used to it. I got so used to it in Berlin, and then like I went for like a couple of days to Vienna, and I was like I was in a kneipe that was like identical to everyone in Berlin, but it was just like, it's so nice in here. Why is it? It's just like,
and you can see people because there's no fog in front of you.
Yeah.
There's a kid here. There's board games for to play. There's those weird racks that have all the newspapers on it.
You and Ciarán have the unfortunate thing of that. Then like all your friends here smoke.
Yeah, literally.
You know,
I'm
like,
literally the only person
I
that
smoke.
doesn't smoke.
Yulia smokes. I know that then most of my other friends smoke. I started smoking a lot more when I moved here, especially like when I stopped drinking and everything, because it's just like it's the thing to do. And Berlin kind of rips in that sense of that. Then cigarettes are like still okay.
Yeah.
We just need to get that like ancient Italian man life expectancy with it though, to live to like 104. That'd be great. Germany's kind of getting the worst of both worlds.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably wrap it up. We're going to be talking about the Berlin 4 probably for a hot minute and the consequences of this. I think I said it on like a little voice note I put at the front of the last main episode. That I found it a little bit shocking that Germany had taken this next step.
Yeah.
But they have, and they haven't been sufficiently punished for it yet. So that probably means they're going to do it again or up the ante in some way.
Yep.
So we'll keep paying attention to that. Hey. In positive news, GYROVISION tickets. There's no way to transition.
I think you did a great job, Ciarán.
Thank you. Before we leave you, GYROVISION, I'm calling it GYROVISION V because this is the fifth one. And it's 2025. I did 2025 in Roman numerals, but it's like, it's unwieldy and clunky. I don't like this. So the GYROVISION 5, GYROVISION V is tickets are now on sale. €20, all going towards two charities, which would be the Heal Palestine and the Ghassan Abu Sitta Children's Fund, basically all going to Palestine. These are charities that both of them have a focus on getting children out of the country with their guardians and getting them proper medical care, which is really great. They also send food and relief. And it's GYROVISION. We're doing it again, Eurovision in a boycott-friendly manner. We are doing it on Sunday, the 18th, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Come dress up, come get drunk. There will be a link in the description of where you can buy tickets. If you need more information, you can check out our social media, as well as Irish Block Berlin, who is helping us run the event this year, who are busy with other stuff at the moment because this event is really stupid. With far more. I was writing the event description and I was like trying to like put a succinct description of just like Irish Block Berlin does a lot of important activist work to bring together the Irish diaspora and others to an unwavering solidarity to the Palestinian people on German soil. Of course, Späti is a dumb podcast.
Yep, exactly.
Anyway, Sunday, 18th of May, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. €20 tickets, all to charity. Come on down.
It's gonna be so much fun. I don't know how to explain this, but it's gonna be a blast.
We're gonna dress to impress.
If anyone has a black cowboy hat in Berlin, please contact me. I don't want cowboy hats are so expensive.
Yeah.
They are like
we get like a proper one, like because we could get you like a hen night one, which would like made of plastic.
No. I don't want
a pink one with like tassels.
That would suit the event.
I could actually like maybe if it fits my head, that would be kind of hot.
I will show you though, but it gives you dizziness, like motion sickness. It's really weird because like they're falling, like they're like it's like a curtain of tassels, and you're wearing it, and it's like
We'll talk about this
everything
tomorrow.
around you. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I
Tomorrow.
like
I'll
the
show you
idea
a
of
picture.
Nick on stage and then suddenly just throws up. It's like, I'm not drinking. It's the hat.
Yeah,
The
first
fucking hat did me dirty.
first Eurovision, I behave myself and I just vomit everywhere.
And you're undone by a hat.
Yeah. Oh, I walk into Ciarán's room. Oh, Dad, I threw up.
Exactly.
For those who,
and also-
for those who were wondering, I am Ciarán's child.
I'm everyone's dad.
Yeah.
Now that I have my Eurovision season mustache.
I need
also-
to shave before Eurovision. I have a month.
It's a month's time, and also should say that we were going to be doing the return of Only Mr. God Knows to build up to Eurovision. And in that, we play a lot of the copyrighted material. So if you listen to this podcast on Spotify or YouTube, you might miss that episode because they get real angry when we put Universal Music Group songs in our podcast. So get a better way of listening to podcasts. They're mostly free.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, we will catch you on the main feed. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.